Dear professors, fellow students and visitors, I am Xiradakis, and it is my honor to present you Mr. Xiradakis, who is the founder and managing director of XRTC Business Consultants, which is a leading financial consulting and advisory services firm established in 1999, acting as a representative of international banks with the intention to enter or continue operations in the Greek shipping market. Captain Xiradakis graduated from the Nautical Marine Academy of Tropical Athens, and he holds a diploma in commercial operations from City of London Polytechnic, an MSc in Maritime Studies from the University of Wales. In his banking career, 1991-1998, he served as Vice President of Credit Lioness Shipping Group and Head of European Shipping Finance Activities, as Head of Greek, Indian and Middle East Shipping. XRTC acted as commercial representative of the French bank's Credit Lioness up to 2004 and Natixis up to 2008. Since 2009, XRTC has been working closely with the Chinese ship finance market. In 2011, XRTC signed a financial consultancy agreement with China Development Bank. XRTC has won the Greek Shipping Financier of the Year by Lloyd's List Greek Shipping Award 2010. Mr. Xiradakis is a member of the board of Dryships Inc. NASDAQ. Also, among other positions, he serves as the president of the board of governance in the International Propeller Club of the United States in various boards. Now let us enjoy his lecture, which topic is the necessity of extraverting the Greek economy, the example of Hellenic shipping success.
So the way that you pronounce Credillion, now you will understand how a guy that's coming from Pillion speaks English. Right. So is there anybody from Pillion here? Bravo, fellow. So, Greece in 1949 was a desert. There were only two main industries that helped us to go out of the crisis or of the disaster or of the desert. It was agriculture and shipping. But above all, what it was were the people that they went abroad, the immigrants, that they brought money in. They were sending some dollars, as the Albanians were doing last decade from Greece to Albania, or as the Syrians are doing now, or the Kurds are doing for the last 4 decades, and nobody cares. The impressive thing is that in your fantastic organization and conference, the Business Week, that I congratulate all of you, you have done a lot of, with the modern technology, as it is very correct, as the previous discussion, as the previous presentation, and you did also with the tourism, which was the next industry that arose in Greek economy. Myself, I will speak to you about the traditional international industry that we, the Greeks, started 10,000 years ago. If you see over there, there is a logo of my company. It's XRTC. It is very easy to find out what is XRTC. My surname is Xiradakis, and therefore the C is company, but there is nothing about R&T, and therefore XRTC doesn't stand for anything else than XRTC, the Greek word for dependence. Because there is no independence in this business, in any business. And whoever is establishing and consulting and saying independent something, there is no independence. Everybody is dependent. We are, this is, we are the 15th year of our operation, since our establishment. And this is our new, I'm very proud of this, very nice advertisement of XRTC. And what we are trying to do is, we are trying to enlighten our partners, our friends, with some new ideas, because this is what is advisory, this is what is consulting. All right, and this is under the water, the lamp, and we are happy that at least we managed to succeed to remain in the market for 15 years with a lot of awards and some innovations. You will have the presentation, I'm not going to go through. So let me tell you about shipping. What is shipping? 90%, even more, of the goods that are transported in the globe are transported with ships. Mind you that if all the ships will stop one day or a quarter, either the North Hemisphere is going to be frozen, that is to say, all Europe, United States, China, etc., will not have even a heating, not to say about producing any good, or everybody will be starving. They won't have money, and they won't have food to eat. So this is the importance of shipping. There are thousands of ships, 50,000 ships. They say the statistics that they flag 150 flags, and there are a lot of people working on ships, the seafarers. They estimate it to be something over 1 million. Here, I want to tell you that in 1983, before the collapse of the market of the 80s, we had 137,000 Greek seafarers. Now, we don't have more than 14,000. And we are back in the desert of 49. But we have food this time. We are not suffering the same way as our grandfathers or as our fathers. Greece is a major maritime nation with its shipping industry, along with tourism that we dealt before, being the most important sectors of the national economy. What is shipping? Many people here in Greece believe that shipping, and journalists maybe, this is the problem, is the ferries. No, it's not the ferries. The ferries is nothing for Greek shipping. It is the international shipping that we call it trans-shipping. And within this international shipping box, you can imagine that we have containers, we have tankers, dries, LNGs. We carry almost everything, chemicals, everything. And a very little small country is a big shipping nation, not only big, but the biggest. How it started? It started 10,000 years ago, as I told you, from the ancient times. Then we went in 49, after our civil war, where our allies, in particular the Americans, USA, they trusted us, or they believed on our capacity and capability to develop a fleet. And in terms of compensation to the efforts of the Greek shipping made in the past, and I will tell you later, they offer us some ships, they gave us. And from there another miracle, the miracle starts. And of course now we are here with the modern vessels. So very quickly I have to tell you that Greek shipping, although we were taught always, lost its power twice last century. After the First World War, that we lost almost 57% of the tonnage. After the Second World War, that we lost more than 80% of our ships. Disaster. All our steamships, all our cargo ships were carrying ammunition and other goods supporting the logistic chain for the Second World War, and that we were winners. But we lost all our assets. And because of this, as I told you, we reached that agreement. what happened after the Second World War? After the Second World War, the Greek government gave certain guarantees, convinced the US people, so that 100 liberties and 72 tankers could be given to Greek owners. The Greek state, at the same time, 10 years later, passed a simple law. Whatever is carrying any asset, Greek asset, that is carrying international cargo from place A to place B, is producing foreign exchange. And therefore, because that was the need at those times, whoever is bringing the money here are not taxable, which is very normal, as it's happening all over the world. It is not as you might have in your brain, because this is the story here in Greece, that we are saying that these people, they do not pay taxes, or these people, they do not contribute, etc., etc. It was logic to support our industry and not to have it either in New York or in London. And therefore, successfully in 67, 68, or 69, whatever it was, 67 and 68, we had another law, and we said that whoever is managing some ships, or whoever is an agent, that doesn't pay as well taxes, as long as it's bringing money here in the state. And because of this, and many other things, we reached this point. But we reached about 4,000 ships in 2013. But what is very important is that we have a steady increase. We got, of course, we jumped over within the decade of 2000, as everything was booming, and we are here. The world commercial fleet worth approximately 800 billion. And the Greeks, as per UNCTAD, was 72 billion. Allow me to say that this figure is very conservative. It's much more. But for the same assets, cargo and tankers could be this figure. The Greek-owned fleet numbers 369 vessels of total capacity of 245 million deadweight. You can carry at once half Salamina. In 2 trips, all Salamina. All right, just understand how big we are. And what is very important is about approximately 20% of sales of assets that are happening throughout the year are being made through Greek hands. Either we sell and we buy. That is to say, what we have, and 10% of the new buildings in China and 20% in Korea are for Greek accounts. These two figures here, 3, 4, whatever it is, shows the dynamism of the market. How dynamic is Greek shipping. Figures and development. Something that you have also in your mind, because this is what is written. Why the Greeks, they do not have the Greek flag in all over the ships. It cannot happen this. Simply because why we cannot have all our fleet, the 3,700 ships under the Greek flag? Because we don't have these captains, these seafarers. Nobody's going abroad. Now, I don't know what's going to happen next month or next years, and whether we will go back, but this is something that will happen. And therefore, we are forced to have vessels without flags, to find seafarers. And because we have certain laws under the Greek flag. And almost 50% of the Greek flag share has been lost. Look at here what's happened. Although whatever it is, Greece is the number one, the first, the world's leading shipping nation, followed by Japan, China, Germany, Korea, etc. And here, just to solve another myth in your brains, which is very easy to understand. Look at what is happening with other countries that they remark Greece of not respecting their own flag, and they go to other countries where they can find better taxation regimes, etc. Which is not the case, as I told you. Germany, 87% of the fleet of Germany is not flagging German flag. Whereas 72% of the Greek fleet, own fleet, does not flag the Greek flag. And you will see, and you will have a lot of time to see these statistics from the organizers, so that they will give you that. Look at, again, what is happening. Approximately 16.2% in 2011 of the world fleet tonnage is the Greek market. And just understand that the Greek-owned shipping tonnage is larger than the sum of the 4 major European owners, Germany, Norway, Denmark, and Italy. That is to say, we are big in shipping. And you have a leadership ready. Other statistics I'm not going to go because I don't have time. Many other statistics that support whatever I told you. But I did think about figures, about people, personalities. 15 Greeks in top 100 of world shipping in 2013 December. There are 15 influential people. Either they are big in assets or very clever. And they can say many things that affect the market. It's not only ownership, it's as well brain here. And I hope that sometimes some consultants will be there. How to make it? Because you are doing an MBA here. Financing is the key role. Equity first shows that you take your money out of the pocket, you put it here, and you must forget it. Because you don't know whether you are going to get it back. But what you are doing is that you place fantastic management, you have the best people that you may have, that you can have, in order to support your equity. But from the other side, you ask money from bankers, mainly, and from capital markets, additional equity in order to grow. And yourselves, you are getting a lot of knowledge on these matters. And I have to tell you that the best Greek shipping capital market experts were studied in your university. Right? Think about it. I'm not going to go through everything. Stock exchange. 14 billion in 11 years we raised. Do you know what is happening now to get 500 million as a stake from Troika? Do you know what's happening about the second or the third or the fifth installment of the memorandum that we have signed? And there are Greek supporters that they go there and they raise 1 billion or 2 billion or even 100 million. These are the leaders. Levantos, names, Xiradakis, Economou, billionaires in raising money, George Economou again here, Ocean Reef. Innovation, what he did apart of ships, just to tell you what you can do in this world, he invested on drill ships, those ships that they go in the deep waters in order to find oil. And one asset is approximately cost 700 million. That is to say the cost of Greek state to pay pensions for 4 months. I think that I have gone through the main characteristics, but it is very good just to tell you that it's a mystery why a small country is the largest ship owner in the world? And the answer is the blood, and they understand it. Top shipping nation in European Union, international business activities all over the world. It's very difficult to find me. I think that Jeffy suffered to find me in order to bring me here. Because last year I was 170 days out. Not permanently, I went 11 times in China. I went 4 times in the US. I don't remember how many times in Europe or in the United Arab Emirates, UAE, Dubai, which is nice. So international business activity, continuous fleet renewal, reinvesting, and Onassis paid 3 times the cost of a ship in the 60s in order to find a ship that doesn't get rust. An oxydoto, like it is, you know, a washing machine. It failed, but he invested on this to find how he can make it. And now many other Greeks, they are trying to do this, innovation. Continuous fleet renewal, diversification, as I told you, and above all, training of its executives. The opposite of what's happening in Greek shipping is what is happening in the Greek state. I had the opportunity to manage a ship, I was a captain as well, yes, but I was asked by the Prime Minister Karamanis at those times in 2004, when everybody believed that something good is going to happen, to manage the Hellenic Public Real Estate Corporation. And I have to tell you that I asked people that were there 30 years that they haven't been trained ever. They were trained among them in order to continue the mistakes of the past, not to solve the mistakes, and to protect them through poor decisions. Why is it that members of a small European nation of 11 million is over Japan, China, and Japan? Greek shipping is competitive, flexible, with quick reactions. It manages to adapt in continuously newly conditions, international markets, raising funds from foreign banks and capital markets, and capable of taking advantage of the crisis. You know what is this, huh? Nose. We smell it. The comparative advantage that no any other has. But others. Yes. And here is the contribution. 7% of the GDP with nothing, with less than 230,000 people that they are working in the Greek sector. 7% GDP. How many million people work in agriculture or in tourism, and worse, hundreds of thousands in the Greek state? A state of 11 million that had more than 350 companies, the wider, the most domains, public sector. Stupid. If we had 10 ship owners to manage all this, we wouldn't have any problem. Of course, we're going to have a lot of people under that. But that was the quick decision. During the period of 2002 to 2012, the Greek shipping contribution in the services balance reached the amount of 140 billion. What is statistics? I haven't read everything, but you will read it carefully. But look at here, the revenue from services in Europe, maritime transport, tourism, bigger than tourism, and then telecoms and miscellaneous others. This is another matter that talks about the dangers of Greek shipping to be relocated from Greece. This is another thing, another question that you have in your mind. Is it the time to follow Greece? Or Greece is moving to go to Monaco, to go to Dubai, to go to Singapore, etc. It won't move But there is a danger. And the danger derives firstly from taxation. Continuous pressure from unions for high salaries. They continue there. I will give you an example. Your Excellency, follow this example. A cook that is working on a Greek-owned fleet and is coming from Poland. How much do you think, yes, is getting a Polish cook? How much is earning per month? Very quickly. How much do you think? Well, he is getting 2,800 euros per month. A cook. How many, μην μου πείτε για χρόνο, how many,
I'm applying.
yes, how many, πώς το λέμε αυτό, series in the TV there are for cooking, even games. Can you imagine how many schools we have for cooks? Tens or hundreds around Greece. Do you know that the Greek owner, they cannot get Greek cook on board, even without the nationality, simply because he has to have the stamp of the unions, and he has to pay the Greek cook 4,000. And do you know how many of these young people that they didn't have the ability to come to this college? They didn't have the money. They went there, and it was delayed. Do you know how many people they live to work as cook in Finland or in Sweden for 900 or for 1,500? A lot. They go to Shanghai to work for Greek restaurant established by Chinese, and they are not getting more than 2,500 per month. And they are not. This is the problem with unionism. European politics against Greek citizens. Not to say. Who is the previous speaker? I mean, he comes from Germany like my wife. Anyway, he is half Greek, half German, and anyway. They keep saying about Greek shipping, about Greek shipping, about Greek shipping. And I have to tell you that Greek shipping is paying double taxes than the German shipping. Greece has never created a free tax scheme like the case is in Germany, and the most attractive or the less expensive registry in Europe is UK. Collapse of banking system, that's a problem. As you understood, we have to make money to find investors, co-investors, and debt. This is a problem, global problem. And higher than the past entry barriers for newcomers to enter shipping. Shipping is getting more and more and more and more sophisticated, and needs more and more and more and more brains like yours. Got me? Doesn't it mean that I was a seafarer and I studied, I had a master as well in England. But they need brains like yours. And this is why you have these wonderful lecturers to put you there, the ideas. So what we are proposing is to get rid of this interference, bureaucracy, and profit penalization and shortage of personnel mobility. We must prepare, you must prepare if you want, even if you won't do shipping, but you will do telecoms, you will do whatever you want to do. You must be mobile. And at the end of the day, God brought you in a globe. You want to stay permanently in Greece. At least the first decade, productive cycle of your life. From 20 to 35, go around to see what's happening over there. This is how I convinced my father. My father was a doctor of medicine and very successful. And I don't know why, he had a globe on his desk room in the house. Okay? And I said to him, I'm not going to follow you. Thank God my brother went there. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to go become captain. Why? I said, because you cannot follow me. If I will ask you 2 million drachmas in 2000, in 1980, with 1980, with 2 million, you can get an apartment of 800 square meters, or 80 square meters. But I wanted 2 million in order to have a gap year, to go around the globe. Don't follow τώρα. Although he had the idea, I said, all right, I'm not going to give you it to me. So what I'm going to do, I will find a way to go all over the world. And the best way was to become a Sephardi. And I'm telling you, that was the best time, educational time in my career. And when you have free time, instead of going to Parnassos and pay 300 or 200 per night, I'm telling you, don't go 2 weekends to Parnassos or to Mykonos. Find a cheap flight and go anywhere. And the only thing that you need to do is to remark the people how they're moving. Πώς με κοιτάς εμένα πώς κουνιέμαι τώρα? This is what you're gonna do. Go in the middle of Asia, go to Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. I like to go there. I've been to Uzbekistan. You must do this. And this is one of the secrets of Greek speed. So, what it brought us to become global? Money, credibility. You know what is very important? The ministers are saying to me, the Greek shipping ministers, the sisters say, we are very proud. Τελειώνα, νόμιζα ότι έφερες το... Θες να μου κάνεις τα ίσου, έλα.
Smile.
5 φορές είναι το καλά. The Greek shipping minister, they say that how proud they are when they go to the European Union, that always they are, all the other ministers are waiting the Greek to be in the meeting in order to start. Of course. Even in the politics we have credibility there. Long-lasting relationships. Try to do something to spoil a relationship of a Greek shipowner with a charterer. You are off. Or with an agent, or with his captain. Unless there is no mistake, nobody can break it. And this applies to all industries. Extroversion. Πόσο με πήρε για να μάθω τη λέξη εξωστρέφεια. They call me thanks God my assistant they found it. Very easy there. No need to explain. Power. Big. And loyalty. In the Greek, similar presentation. Very quickly. You have 2 seconds. What is loyalty? Στα ελληνικά.
Πίστη.
2 δευτερόλεπτα πόσο?
Πίστη. Ποσίως.
Μπέσα. Αφήστε τα πίστη και έτσι. Μπέσα. If you don't have μπέσα in your business, either locally or internationally, you are out. And here is the middle. Who are we? You can easily say that we are the taxi drivers of the oceans. You see? All over. And then you see this taxi has a Greek flag. Magya. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a very vivid presentation. Any questions, please? Yes, we have a couple. We have 3 already. Should I start?
Hi, I want to ask if it's true. Hi. Okay. If it's true that the future of shipping will be in China because of the low cost that it is there to produce. The cost is less. And will it be more powerful, the shipping companies, for example, in China than here in Greece?
Next? Okay. So I will tell you, actually China has always been in shipping, simply because of its geography. Now it's because of its technology and because of money. I don't know whether they will overpass Greece and we don't care whether they will overpass. China is a population of 1.3 billion, and we have larger fleet ourselves. Certainly they will expand internationally, and this is what another market that I'm serving. You know, my nickname in Virus is Captain Banker was. After 2010, when I became famous for my Chinese connection, they say the Chinese Captain Banker. So what I'm telling you is correct on this particular. So certainly, you know, the sky is the limit for China. They have developed tremendous technology in building ships. They want to expand, but even now they do not have this international characteristic. They do have, though, the mobility, and not only the mobility, they have as well the wish to go out, to come out, to leave the country. And if you open the door in China, you will see hundreds of millions of people go abroad. Australia has a danger to become Chinese, because so many Chinese go there. So I don't feel any danger, because even Greek shipping will be second or third or whatever, still we're going to be big. But of course, in order to compete, we must be and have competitive environment. The answer? Thank you.
Any questions from that side? So we can take one more question here, please.
Είδες εδώ πέρα all the girls. No, girls. Why? Because the ship is a female. And it is, the English they say the ship, the lady. And the Greeks, they are saying female. Enough. Λέγαμε ο ναύς, ή ναύς που είναι το πλοίο. Γιατί μαθαίνεις τώρα από το γουλάδο του καπετάνιου,
Well, thank you very much for the presentation. My question concerns taxation. As you mentioned, in the past there was a change in taxation and they stopped taxing ship owners and agents later on. But now we see that in spite of having new building orders for the coming years, we have projections that the Greek fleet will increase even more. We have a change in taxation as well. Agents started being taxed. Do you think that ship owners are going to continue having any kind of favorable taxation?
This is a real danger, and I have put it as a danger. Unfortunately, at this stage, the Greek government is not independent the way that they were in the 50s or 60s to make their own decisions. Certainly, those people that they are somewhere waiting to receive their money back, they are pushing in order to increase taxes, to increase states' income. And this is why we have these catastrophic changes in the last 2 years. As you correctly said, agents are forced to pay taxes at the moment, ship brokers, and you know what's happening. Just to support your question, let's say that we had a 10 million income from the ship broking. sector. After the Greek state threw in indirect taxes. After the new measures taken December of 2012, the income is less than 500,000. Why? Because when I book to sell a ship from a Singaporean to buy a Greek-owned fleet that flies Liberian flag, I say as a broker, please put the brokerage fee in Dubai or in Singapore or in England. And this money is not coming here. And therefore what I'm doing, again, I'm paying even my staff like this. So all the money outside. Look at how much you lose from the loss of money that they could have been here in Greece and spending this. That's why you see a lot of people going holidays there. Find their money, where are? This is a real danger, and I hope that we will not change these holy fundamentals. It's somehow like we damaged our agricultural industry in 2000. You were not born, most of you, in 1980s, in the 80s. But it was a catastrophe of the agriculture. We said, don't produce, you get subsidies. Don't produce, you get subsidies. Don't produce, you get subsidies. Change your production. Not tobacco, yes, not tobacco, not cotton, bambaki, whatever. And then everybody tried to get bananas and cactinidea, like we were in Manila. Anyway, so these are things that we have to protect. And the whole shipping industry, we are here and to oppose, but at the same time to defend properly. And as I told you, the easiest way to defend is to see the similar statistics. And the most important is to increase, if we want to defend our country, is we must increase our productivity. And unfortunately, don't expect from your fathers to increase their productivity. And I'm not talking about your own fathers, but the generation of your fathers. That it has been used to work under the state that did not produce anything. This is the generation, the post-Polish new generation, you know, go to the streets and that's for money without producing. This has to die. Not themselves, the mentality. If we are not to produce, we will not be able to defend these strong measures of taxation in all over industry, in all the industries.
We have 3 more.
Do we have any mind to speak? Boy?
Thank you again for the lovely presentation. We all know for a fact that the shipping industry demands a huge initial investment and a huge cash flow in order to continue working. Therefore, the shipping owners in Greece are few. Do you think that that concentration is one more key to the success of the Greek shipping industry?
Concentration or consolidation, I would have said, better consolidation, say, of the nation. You know, as you might remember, one of the dangers is the newcomers, and whether it's going to come again, or the establishment of new shipping companies. I have to tell you that more or less there are about 700 ship owners here in Greece, much more than all over European ship owners. There is a concentration or consolidation in the big names. Just to tell you that less than approximately 80 ship owners control 90% of the fleet. But this is not a danger because the big ship owners, some 20 years ago, 10 years ago, there were less than 30, now there are 80. So what is happening is that those that understood the They have the feeling of the market, and they comply with the new corporate structures. They provide transparency, and they invest a lot of the proper management of the ships. It just become bigger, and it was easier for them to go and raise money either through private placements or through IPOs, etc. This is why you see big companies now. I don't think that there is a limitation or to anyone that has to become big as long as he's committed and he follows the secrets, open secrets of success. Certainly, from the other side, you have to have another thing in your mind. If you have a small company, you have 2 vessels, you might need 5 people to manage it. But these 5 people, they can manage 10 vessels as well. At the same time, we have shipping companies here in Greece that the personnel is well over 2,000 or 3,000 people. That is to say, you might get 4 big shipping companies that they have personnel of more than 10. So, more or less, is there to stay. You know this.
I would like to thank you also for the presentation, even though I knew that it would be a wonderful one. This is why I invited you. I would like to ask if what is your opinion about the Greek flag? If the reconstruction of it can boost, let's say, the Greek shipping industry.
I think that the flag, the way that it is at the moment, is okay. We need some improvements of bureaucracy. There were some stupid moves in the past, for the last 5 years, 4 years, that somebody has thought that it was very clever to seize the operation of the Minister of Merchant Marine. We are leaders in one industry in the world, and we have a specific ministry, and we close it. Αυτό μόνο είναι η κάπως, αυτό δεν γίνεται. Right, so with all these matters, etc., now they try to re-establish the Greek shipping ministry. But I'm afraid that the way that they re-establish is through protection of the mistakes of the past, and not of overpassing the mistakes and introduce highly sophisticated system to register the ship, to follow up the ships, etc. This is a handicap. But the main handicap is people. Because it is very correct that the Greek flag requires a certain number of Greek officers, etc., to be on board. This is why we have Greek fleet. And we don't have people. Because these people, they prefer to open a cafe, to go to work in Germany in a factory, than to go on a ship. And if those people, they want to go to the ship, we have the barrier of unions that does not allow to reduce a bit the salary, to be adjusted in accordance with what is happening in the Greek economy. And therefore, we have a seafarer, an AB, a naftis, AB, seaman, that is coming from a small village of Philippines or Indonesia, and is making 700 euros or 600 euros. Of course, I don't want the Greek seaman to go there with 600 or 700, but it can go with 1,000 and with 1,200, but not with 3,000. It's uncompetitive. There is the problem of the Greek flag. This is why we are forced to have other flags as well. And if you go around and you see the statistics of the registries that there are the Greek flag, the Greek owned ships, they are next door. very close. Malta, Cyprus, even Liechtenstein. So thank you very much for your... my suggestion is to think globally.
Captain, I was thinking I should speak because they want to go out and have their coffee, you know. But you're a captain, and I'm a teacher, and I want to tell you something. This is a different generation. You know, they are missing. They do not know the Greek history very well, what you have started your introduction with, that we are coming from a civil war. Their parents were feeling insecure. It's not everything on their parents' mistake. And they are not business people yet. They do not know, very many of them, with all respect, guys, why they're in business. Business is a trip. It's enthusiasm. It's dinamiko. And I bet you most of them do not know what pesa is, which was of our generation. But they need to know that in order to be successful, you need to have enthusiasm. Right? Enthusiasm. And if I can tell you something which you wouldn't expect from us, be less conservative, be a little bit more evolutionary, have ideas. It doesn't matter, not everybody has to be, you know, a technocrat. You have to be of the piazza, and that's it. Remember, in every bazaar around the Mediterranean, they were speaking Greek. Even if you go now to Jerusalem, to Istanbul, if you go to Morocco, in those bazaars, strangely enough, they speak Greek because we are embory, we are in trade, and we lost it. So thank you for underlining this. By the way, we are starting a new award, shipping by itself. Not under management only, but shipping under Professor Alfaldo. So please help us with that, okay? Thank you very, very much.
Hi, Andy.